Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is your everyday Rangers news channel. I'm Owen James, and this is all the latest news, guys. We've got news about Jermain Defoe, who's been talking a little bit about Rangers this season, and not in a very complimentary way either. We've also got some news on Tom Lawrence's fitness, some news on a bounce game that was played at Auchenhowie yesterday. Rangers played Dundee in a bounce game. I do find some of Tony Docherty's comments post-game a little bit bizarre. And also Paul Gascoigne on the upcoming Spurs Rangers Europa League tie. Blast from the past as Gazza is here. Wouldn't you love to have Gazza back in that Rangers midfield? What a player. My all-time favourite Rangers player, Mr. Paul Gascoigne. Right, let's start off with Jermain Defoe. Obviously, part 55. One of the best, I think. Look, Jermain Defoe, look, I'm not saying the guy's world class, but one of the best finishers I've ever seen play the game. The way he put the ball in the back of the net, the different goals he scored, and the chances that he took. I mean, the guy is just a natural born finisher, top level player. Anyway, he's been talking to the Scottish media about the situation at Rangers. Obviously, he keeps an eye on his former club. He's been seen at Ibrox and in Glasgow on several occasions since he left the club. He often comes back to the club and is still obviously loved by the fans for his part of that title. Jermain Defoe is insisting that Rangers do need to change this season. He says that's obvious. He says that, in his words, it's been a tough watch this season. I think we can all kind of agree with that, Jermain. It has been a very tough watch this season. I think there's been very few games where you've sat and gone, wow, that was exciting. That was fantastic. That was just brilliant. I love that. I think a lot of games have been a bit, oh, come on, for God's sake. What? Oh, I mean, frustration. Now, the league is what it is. We're 5 points behind Celtic. We're five, and I've got to apparently call them Celtic from now on because I've now got Rangers fans telling me it's pathetic to call them that lot from across the city. Yes, I'll let you be the judge of that one. And also 5 points behind Aberdeen as well. Better not call them the sheep because I might upset somebody. We were obviously out of the Champions League, in the Europa League. It's obviously not been great, has it, so far this season? The season has not perhaps started as we hoped it would. The talks of the great rebuild, the great revolution. As I think I said at the start of the season, start of the pre-season, I think I said that we needed revolution, not evolution, and we haven't really had either. Jermain Defoe, speaking to the media, says, if you speak to any Rangers fan or ex-players, and if we're all being totally honest, it's been hard watching. We won the league when I had a player-coach role, and then I left after the boys came so close to winning the Europa League. I looked at it and thought they would kick on the next season if they kept the core of good young players and experience and possibly add a few more. But it's actually gone the other way. It's been tough to watch because I try and watch every game. I go to Glasgow quite a bit and speak to some of the boys. I feel like it's obvious that something needs to change. The players need to try and find their form. The players need to find some sort of consistency. There are games up there that people expect them to win, and you can slip up if you don't approach with the right frame of mind. And that's what happened last season. You look at the points that Rangers dropped last season, and the games that you would expect them to win convincingly, to be honest. I think Jermain's very accurate in what he has to say there. If you go back to last season for a minute and you look at the games that we did lose, the games we didn't perhaps, get the full points, the Ross County game we lost, obviously, up in Dingwall, the draw against Dundee on that hideous pitch at Dens Park, just to name but two fixtures, there was more, of course there was more. There were games that we really should have been winning. The games that we had the title race in our own hands and we threw it all away. And I think Jermain's right to question the frame of mind. A champion, a winner, a leader needs a positive winning frame of mind at all times. And I don't think at times we have that. And there are players within our group, and we know those players, I'm not going to name them because I'm fed up with getting the abuse for it, are what you would describe as serial losers. They have such a mental scarring from their time at Rangers, from being second best to Celtic, that it's now become so ingrained in them that they are second best to Celtic, and that's where they are, and that's where they shall stay in their mind. And they're the sort of players that we need out of the club. We need a new winning mentality. And yeah, he's right. The form, the consistency needs to come. the consistency of display. And obviously, the manager has to carry some of the can for that. The manager is responsible for coaching, for organising, and for picking the team. And if the manager hasn't got a consistent style, consistent way of playing, a progressive way of playing, and I think some managers maybe, and I think some people as well, need to realise that with Rangers comes a certain level of expectancy. With Rangers comes a certain level of standards that you have to meet. Standards are the standards, aren't they? We have high standards, we have high expectations, and if football is not played in the right way, a winning way, with a positive style of football, with a consistent style of football, there are questions asked, and rightly so. And I think Jermain Defoe is merely echoing that as he does. Jermain Defoe, has said also that he would love the opportunity to come back to Rangers to be a coach at some point. He says, I started my coaching badges with Rangers and then completed my A licence while I was at Tottenham. Since then, I've had loads of conversations with clubs. I actually had a conversation with Rangers last year and told them that I would love to come back in some sort of role with a football club. So, that's what I would certainly look at. Jermain is a club legend. He is a top player. He is someone who, knows what, like I said, knows how to finish. And, that clinical finishing nature is perhaps something that we're really lacking at this moment in time. You look at our forwards and they're consistently inconsistent. Cyril Dessers at times couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. Igman is still learning the game. Danilo is injured. The attacking midfielders and others miss a lot of chances. We don't take chances when they are generated. So someone like Defoe, I think, could possibly do a job there. I mean, I certainly think if you put Defoe with Dessers, first of all, Cyril Dessers might actually learn how to finish and how to finish in big games if you put Jermain Defoe alongside of him. Although there is that saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and you can put lipstick on a pig, but hey, it's still a pig. Well, there you go then. What do you think of Jermain Defoe's comments? Personally, I think, he's spot on with what he's got to say. There is a change needed at the club. There is a change. There is, a mindset change, a consistency change, a form change needed from the whole squad. And obviously now we're heading into October. We are in October. We're right in the heat of October, going into November. And as Philippe Clement sort of said in his own words at the start of the season, we'll see the best of Rangers in October, November. Well, now, Philippe, you've laid the challenge down. If we don't come out of October and November with full points and victories in virtually all of the games, bar perhaps the Europa games, you are going to look like a bit of a tit, aren't you? Coming out and saying what you said. Right, on to Rangers versus Dundee. Rangers played a bounce game behind closed doors at Auchenhowie yesterday, lost 1-0 to Dundee. Tony Docherty described it as a positive workout. There's your wee old alcoholic Uncle Tony there. Always looks like he's had a drink, Tony Docherty, doesn't he? Yeah, it always looks like you're an alcoholic uncle that turns up still pissed from the pub. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, just an observation. Where am I up to? Yeah, okay, so they lost 1-0. Right. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and slag them off. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, we lost to Dundee. It was a bounce game. It was a practice game. But Tony Docherty came out and he said that Dundee beat a very strong Rangers team yesterday. Very strong Rangers team. Well, Tony, no Tierney, no Bajrami, no Barron, no Suter, no Diamande. Right, I think Dessers is there. Because let's face it, he's too shit to play international football. There's 5 players at least missing. 5 first teamers playing. Cass off with Holland, 6. So there's 6 players at least missing from the first team. I would highly doubt it was a very strong Rangers team. Tom Lawrence is injured, 7 players out. Danilo is injured, 8 players out. So what does that leave? James Tavernier, well, he's shit. Doesn't really matter. Butland probably might have played. Liam Kelly might have played. Maybe Kelly might have played there. Proper could have played, I suppose. Balogun could have played. King, no, off with under 21s. Ridvan's still injured. Hiefte could have played. Raskan could have played. Dowell could have played. But then again, that's no great shakes. Dowell's pretty poor. Who else is there left there? McCausland, no. McCausland's off with Northern Ireland. So that's another one missing. Cortez is injured. So basically, Sterling maybe for one wing. Matondo's injured. Basically, no wingers. I suppose unless you played Hamza wide left and Dessers in through the middle. So, Tony, a strong team? I don't really think so, mate. Not with the amount of players away on international duty and the amount of players missing. So, I think you might be telling porky pies there. I think you might be doing a bit of a attempted morale boost after you fell apart against Killy in your last game. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is, to be honest with you. So it's just interesting, isn't it? I think what some people perceive as a strong Rangers team, and I think Tony Docherty maybe had one or few too many sherries before he made that comment. Okay, so let's move it along to Tom Lawrence. Tom Lawrence obviously is out injured. Ankle injury that he's got, that's what it is. Now, word is on the street that he will face a late fitness test before the game against Kilmarnock to see if he is able to play. He has been undertaking some training, but not massively getting involved. Be interested to see what the manager's got to say in his pre-match presser as well. But Lawrence looks very much touch and go 50-50 to start against Killy on Wednesday night. Obviously, we know the fact that Hadji is suspended on Tuesday night, on Sunday afternoon. My God, when am I? I'm so tired. Yeah, Tom Lawrence. So Tom Lawrence is out. I suppose the answer is you move Bayrami into the 10, you bring McCausland on one wing and Cheney on the other. That's one possible solution to the problem, or Sterling on one, or move Hiefte forward, or Fraser. There's a number of combinations we can go for, but it does look like Bayrami may get another go in the 10 role, with Lawrence obviously touch and go and Hadji suspended for this game. I mean, in an ideal world, having Hadji would have been the perfect game to start Hadji, Bayrami, and Cheney and see what they can bring to the party against a Kilmarnock team that seemed to be on the rebound from their dreadful start to the season. But yeah, interesting news that Tom is out. Right, club legend, absolute club legend, genuine. This is what you call a genuine legend. For those of you, I want to say this: the term legend is bandied around way too much. Yeah, there's players who are very good footballers. There's players who've contributed a lot to Rangers, but doesn't make them legends. I would say in the present squad, the present team, there are no legends, and there are no Rangers legends. And I would say, going back, Alan McGregor, probably Rangers legend, I would say, from recent times. But there's very few players who I would say are Rangers legends from recent times. And I would certainly say there are no players in the current squad that are Rangers legends. Absolutely not. No players at all. Now, we're going to talk about a real legend now, Paul Gascoigne. I mean, the man was different class. I mean, the man could win a game by himself. I'll never forget watching that Aberdeen hat-trick against Aberdeen to decide the title, to win us the title. I'll never forget some of his goals. I'll never forget the header against the goal against Celtic. I'll never forget the flute celebration. I'll never forget any of those things with this amazing man. Now, Gazza has been talking. I mean, it's not particularly a tactical conversation or a team observation conversation that he had, but this is what he had to say about the upcoming Spurs versus Rangers game when he spoke to the media. He said this. He says, at Rangers, I'm welcomed in every way. Whereas at Tottenham, I asked for a couple of tickets and they said that'll be 400 quid each. And I was like, wow, with all that I did for the club, when they play Spurs, I'll be a Rangers fan. It's not looking good. This is from a Spurs website. Yeah, I mean, look, that's a pretty shitty way to treat a former player who, basically got you to an FA Cup final, basically won you an FA Cup, did a lot for you in the time you were there, and also generated you a massive amount of cash when you sold him to Lazio. We'll always love Paul at Ibrox. He'll always be a Rangers legend. He'll always be a genuinely actual bona fide Rangers legend. Whereas I think Tottenham, it's a pretty shitty way to treat a former player, isn't it? It really genuinely is. But it's nice that Paul will be backing the Gers on the night that we play Spurs in the Europa League. I'm sure fans will be crying into his Castlemaine 4X before and after the game, hopefully. Right, guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in today's video. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. Please smash the sub, smash the like, do a share, drop a comment. Just do all that great stuff for me. So thank you for watching. And as always, remember, we are the people.